Hi guys, I'm Michelle. I'm a fascial stretch specialist from Full Motion Bodyworks, and I am here to take you through a program called Mobility for Moms. As I am filming this, we're just a little bit away from Mother's Day, so this is something that I wanted to give to all the moms out there because we give our best every day and we don't usually take any time to take care of ourselves. And in true mom fashion, I am shooting this while my child is taking a nap, so should he wake up before I finish, he will probably be joining us. I normally don't like to do that, but I feel like this is the crowd that I would get away with it with, so hopefully you all don't mind if he joins us later on. So for this little flow, you don't need a yoga mat, but it's handy to have, or a blanket even is fine. If you've got yoga blocks, they're great to have handy. They're not absolutely necessary. If you've got a foam roller instead, that's fine too. A belt, strap, scarf, something of that nature to maybe help you if you need it. Again, if you don't have anything, I can always kind of make it work without. It's just nice to have some tools nearby so that you can get the best out of it. So we are going to start seated, and we're going to start with some neck work. So go ahead and start with just some neck circles to warm everything up. So tuck the chin, roll the ear to the shoulder, nice and slow. As you dip your head back, make sure you're not dropping back into a hyperextension too far. Roll to the other shoulder and back down. You want to avoid that, especially if you've had whiplash or a concussion, because that will set off the nervous system and actually cause your neck muscles to contract because they think that your head is going to lose control. And then go ahead and switch directions. So just nice and easy to warm up. Nothing too crazy here. Preparing, getting us ready for what is to come. Good, we'll kind of circle back to the center, let your head just float back up. Nice and easy. So pick a side to start with, doesn't matter which because we're doing both. Pull one ear down to the shoulder, and then we'll just start to rock gently side to side. If the rocking makes you dizzy or you just don't care for it, you can leave it out. I like to rock to down regulate the nervous system and help your nervous system relax so that we get a better stretch. So pulling the ear down to the shoulder. And again, if you've had any whiplash, concussion, anything like that, you want to go really gentle with the neck work. So maybe this is enough if you're feeling a big pull here. If not, you can add in the arm on top of the head. So it's not pulling, it's just resting, adding a little bit extra. And then you can start to shift your chin down towards the floor, like you're sniffing your armpit. And then switch and go up to the ceiling. And just going back and forth. Nice and easy. If you want a little bit more into the trap, you can take your other hand and tuck it behind you or kind of sit on it and then lean away from it. So again, if that's really intense for you, maybe take that arm out. You don't need to go that deep into it. But a great way to target the traps and the levator, which we are going to try and trigger point the levator next. Good. And then when you're ready, just unweight your head first. So take the arm off, circle back through the center, this arm can come out. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So ear goes down to the shoulder. And then if you feel comfortable, you can start that gentle rock side to side. So getting a nice pull here, trying to get as much space through here as possible. Women in general tend to be very pulled up, but moms especially, because we've always got so much stuff in our hands, usually our children. So something to think about is really focusing in your day-to-day life on just pulling your shoulders down away from your ears to really take some tension off of here. So again, if you feel comfortable, like you could do a little more, take that arm on top of the head and just go nice and easy here. Rocking, and then start to shift that chin again down towards the floor, and then up towards the ceiling, down to the floor. If you want a little bit more into the trap levator, you can sit on that hand and then lean away. Again, if that's really intense, back it off. We want our nervous system to stay down regulated, so if anything's really intense, your nervous system will remember that, and the next time you try to stretch it, it will contract automatically, and you're not really going to get great results. So less is more, in other words. And then when you're ready, just unweight your head, circle back through the center, back in. So I'm going to come up onto my knees. You're welcome to do the same. If you need a blanket underneath, that's fine. Or you can also do this standing if that's more comfortable for you. You just want to have enough room to move this arm. You could probably do it seated, but just to give yourself a little extra room, hop on up. So we're going to trigger point your levator. So I'll kind of show you from the side, maybe from the back also, kind of from all angles. To find where you're working with, take your fingertips of the opposite hand, so I guess just pick a side, press your fingertips around. You'll probably feel some trigger points immediately, and you're probably on the right spot then. But if you're not sure where you're at, there's a little shelf, and maybe I'll just pull down here, I don't know if you guys can even see, but a little bit of a shelf right above your shoulder blade itself. So the top of the shoulder blade, there's a bit of a ridge. So you want to be on that ridge, kind of move your fingertips along until you feel probably what the best spot would be for you. So if you have no trigger points, congratulations, you have graduated. But for most of us, as we move along that ridge, there'll be a couple like really ouchy spots. So kind of pick one of your ouchy spots there. So I'm going to stay here applying pressure to the fingertips. This is also a great move to do if you're standing against the wall. You can put a ball right in that spot and pin it and do this as well. But for the sake of being easy here, just use your fingertips to pin that down. Then point your chin down towards that hip. Then we're going to look up, point the chin down towards the opposite hip. Now pointing it down this way should put the muscle under tension. So if you turn this way and you don't really feel anything, maybe move around a little bit. You might have to move up off of the ridge closer to your, like I've got a big one right there. So kind of play around with it. You might have to repin and then look down to the hip. And then you're going to slowly raise, oh yeah, this arm up towards the ceiling. So that should really set off some sensation in your body. Bring it back down, bring your chin back up, and then repeat. So I'm going to do this maybe 5 times. You guys do it as many times as you need to get a release in that point. If you're like, I don't even really feel anything, then maybe A, you don't have any trigger points, which I doubt, or B, you're not on them. So just move around. You might have to go way up off of the ridge. You may have trigger points like right up at the very top of your shoulder, like right there. Everybody's going to be different. There's no right or wrong hand placement. It's wherever you have problems. So play around with it, and you might have to move every single time as it starts to release. So I've got one pinned right here. So I'm going to look, I like to put it on slack first. So looking down to the same hip, less tension there, coming up, then looking to the opposite hip, more tension there for me. I'm just going to wiggle my fingers a little, and then nice and slow, oh yeah, raising this arm up, breathing through this because it can be intense. Arm comes down, chin comes back up. If you need to move those fingertips around, do that. So again, hip, hip. Oh yeah, raising up. You guys don't need my sound effects probably. And then coming back down, looking up. I'm gonna do just one more here, but you guys can pause this if you need and do as many as you need. So hip, hip, raise. Oh yeah, real tight. Good, then come on down. Look to the center, and then we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So find your ridge and work up from there. May feel different than the other side, you may feel trigger points in different spots, that's totally fine. So again, same hip, opposite hip, so under tension there, I gotta move my fingers. Raise this arm up. Oh geez, pretty intense. Back down. Ooh yeah. Back up. Moving the fingers around. So again, this is great to do against the wall with a ball, so you can free this hand and you don't have to use any pressure from there. It's a little bit easier. If you've got a ball handy, you're welcome to do that instead. So hip, hip, and. If you've got a lot of tension in your shoulders, this is a great thing to do after work, if you're a working mom, or just after a long day. So it's a great way to release some of that tension up throughout here. Oh yeah, big time. Good. I'm going to do just one more here, but again, if you want to do more, you can pause the video and continue doing this until you feel a good release. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. And back down, good. Come back to the center, kind of give the shoulders a little bit of a roll. Good, and we'll come back down to sit comfortably. Great. So now we're gonna go back to sitting, and we're gonna work on the anterior neck. So this, for most of us, is a big problem, and a bigger problem even than back here. These issues back here that we just worked on are coming from forward posture and these muscles kind of shutting off and shortening. So we are going to lengthen here, and then we're going to activate. So go ahead and take your fingertips on top of your collarbone, crossed there, and just really gently drop the elbows down to pin the collarbone down. And then we're just gonna float the chin up towards the ceiling, and then make little rainbow arcs there, moving side to side. Nice and easy. Oh yeah. Good. If you have issues with your jaw, with just clenching or TMJ or grinding your teeth, this is a great time to add in some relief for that. So just open and close your mouth like you're taking a bite, and do it in all directions. So continue doing those arcs as you open and close. Looks super silly, but we're all at home so no one can see us. Open, close, close. Good. And then when we're ready, come back to the center and just let your head float down the same way it came up. So now we're going to bring some activation into these muscles. I'm going to turn sideways so you guys can get a better visual. So we're just going to do chin retraction. So what you want is to push your chin straight back. Think about sucking it back into your body. So the chin is here. Suck it back. Give yourself a nice double chin. What I want you to avoid is tucking as you come in. You're not tucking to your chest. You are pulling it, you are retracting it straight back. So, not tucking, your eyes should stay forward, your nose should stay pointed forward, just sucking in. It may feel really uncomfortable, or you might have a weird sensation because these muscles have been inactive for so long. So give it a few reps to try and see if you can get them to wake up. So retract, relax, retract, relax, retract, relax. Good. Do a couple more. There we go. We'll do one more and then relax. So again, something to do when you're driving in your car or wherever to try and combat that forward head posture. You want everything to bring it right back. So next we're going to warm up the shoulders. Pick a side, either side. Fingertips to the top of the shoulder, and we're going to roll the elbow forward, starting with some small circles. Because we're really rounded forward, it's typically easier for us to go forward, and then we'll switch directions and go back, if that feels good to you. And then whenever you're ready, you can unfold the arm, do some nice big circles. And don't be afraid to turn your chest to get a little T-spine movement in here. Follow that arm with your gaze. Nice and easy. Good. And back to the center, switch sides, fingertips to the top of the shoulder. Rotate this forward. Mine's cracking. Do a few circles, then switch directions. Good. And then unfolding that arm, big sweeps around in a circle. Again, you can turn to get a little T-spine mobility in here. Good. We'll do one more, back to the center then. Then you're going to take each hand, cross it over onto the opposite hip, kind of latch your bottom hand onto your leg, and you're going to open the top hand behind you and look to it as you turn, using that bottom hand to push you further into rotation. And then you're going to dive it under the other and switch sides. And we're going to go back and forth for a few reps. Notice if you can go further in one direction than the other. We'll do one more each way. Good. Back to the center. You're going to bring one hand down to the mat, reach the other arm up and over your head and look to that elbow. And breathe into this area here. So when we develop what I call the mom hip, whatever side you carry your kid on, that QL muscle is typically shortened. It connects the rib cage to the pelvis. So you're carrying your kid here. So we want to lengthen that. Take a deep breath, other side. So again, creating as much space as we can between the rib cage and that pelvis. Breathing into the side body. So if you typically carry your child on only one side, you might want to spend a little bit more time there. For me, that's this side. Taking some nice deep breaths. Good, we're gonna windmill back to the other side, but we're gonna bend the top elbow this time, so looking up, going a tiny bit further. Good, switching sides. Good, coming back to the center. So I want you just to slide your fingertips out as far as you comfortably can. And then we're gonna walk them both over one knee. So again, we're creating space between the rib cage and the pelvis just in a different way. At a different angle, trying to increase the stretch. Nice deep breaths. Good, going to the other side. Nice deep breath here. Fill that lung, fill the space here throughout the side. Good. Circle back through, back to the center, slide in. So you're going to take one arm, set it in the elbow crease of the other. If you are able, you're going to just interlock your hands like this. If not, this is fine. This just gives you a little more stability. So I'm going to turn to the side so you guys can see a little bit better. So elbow in the other elbow crease. Push both elbows out away from your body. And then bring your hands up towards the ceiling and down towards the floor. So we're getting in between the shoulder blades here. Kind of a hard to reach area, which is usually really tight. Good, and then we're just gonna switch the wrap around. So other elbow goes in the crease, pushing out away from the body first, and then up towards the ceiling and down towards the floor. And then up and down. We'll do one more up, slow and down. Perfect. You can uncross, come up onto all fours, hands and knees. So you're going to take one arm, we're going to reach it up towards the ceiling, and then you're going to dive it underneath the other. So I'm going to start with this arm reaching this way up towards the ceiling, and then diving underneath down towards the floor, resting your head on the floor, the shoulders on the floor. This hand can stay here, or it can reach out overhead, or even wrap around to help you look up. Whatever feels most comfortable. Take a couple deep breaths here. Then you can return this hand to the floor, push back up to the center, and then we're switching to the other side. So big reach up, dive under, rest the head, reach this arm out, or bring it, excuse me, or bring it and wrap it around. Swear I don't have COVID. I can't wait till that's not a joke anymore. And we don't have to use that as a joke all the time. Good, we'll come back up to the center. So from here, we're going to do a little bit of cat-cow. So I want you guys to push into the floor, round the upper back, the pelvis, tuck the chin. So bringing the ribs in towards the hips. And then I want you to push through, open the chest, look up, spreading the shoulder blades, opening the pelvis, and then we're going to round again. So tucking in, rounding, and expand and open. Good, one more time here. Tuck and open. Good, we're just going to pivot the bottom leg. So you're still on one knee, this leg comes out straight from the body. You're on your hand here, this arm reaches up towards the ceiling. And then I want you to nice and slow bring this arm around in a big circle, sweeping the fingertips to the floor, coming around, reaching up. We'll do that again, sweep around, coming up, over the head. If you are able here, if you've got the stability, lift the straight leg, bend, reach around, and pull that heel in towards the butt. Taking some nice deep breaths, keeping that shoulder directly over the wrist. Good, and then releasing. And then we're gonna switch to the other side. So I'm just gonna move here so you guys have a better view of not my back. So pivot, straighten, reach up, reach over the head and circle, big reach up, over the head, circle. We can switch directions. Good. And then we're going to, again, if you can, lift that bottom leg, bend it, grab on, and pull. Take some nice deep breaths here. If this is not something that you are able to do right now, just hold tight. In practice, you'll get there. It's not too big of a deal. Good, we'll come back down. If you felt that really bothered your wrists, we'll do a quick little stretch for your wrists. So start by just doing a couple circles. I've been having wrist issues on this side, so this will be good for me. Then you're going to place your hands down. Fingertips are spread, pushing into the floor, and you're just going to circle over your wrists. And then we're going to switch directions. Good, then you're going to turn your fingertips out to the side so they're pointing away from each other. And then we're going to rock side to side. So fingertips still spread. And then we're going to point the fingertips straight back at you if you're able. If you need to angle them out so it's not so intense, that is totally fine. Some people just don't have the ability to do this because they're just too tight. So angle out if you need to. You don't want it to be painful. If it's painful, come out of it and back off of the stretch. But if you can, you're just gonna lean back, come forward, kind of doing a little bit of rocking. Some nice easy stretching there. And then we're just gonna flip the hands. So the fingertips are still pointing back at you. And now we're going to lean back this way. If you find you have to have your elbows really bent, that's okay. This is just something to work towards. Good, one more here. Good, then we'll sit back, shake it out. That can be really intense for people, especially if they've never done it before, and we'll do some circles. And then just reach your arms up and do a couple quick little squeezes with your fingers to bring some activation back in. If that was really intense for you, it's something I recommend doing a lot of. The more you do it, the easier it is. A lot of times I do them in my stretch classes, and people who come every couple weeks to my stretch classes will find that over time it does get easier. So since we're on our knees, we'll get into our hip flexors here. If you're on a hard floor like I am, you might need to double up your mat or blanket. If you're on the carpet, you'll probably be fine. So staying on our knees, you're going to step one leg forward. So I want you to tuck your pelvis under and then shift forward. So getting into this back hip flexor here. So I'm just going to show from another angle for you guys about the pelvic tucking. So if you're going forward here and you don't feel anything, that's because your pelvis isn't aligned. So tuck first, then go in, getting a nice stretch there. So back here, tuck forward, take a few deep breaths. Then we're going to take whatever leg is forward, take that arm inside of that knee, push to open to the side. So keeping that pelvis tucked, turn to open, reach the other arm up and over your head like you're going down to the floor. So this is opening up the iliacus as well as the psoas. Nice deep breaths. Good, we'll come back to the center. You're going to walk this foot out a few steps, and then you're going to lunge into it. So getting the short adductors on this side, maybe this side, kind of depends on where you're tight. And so again, we're going to do the same thing, bringing this hand down to the floor, reaching this arm up and over, and breathe. Good. Coming back up. Walk this foot all the way out to the side so that it's straight. Bring your hips back like you're sitting in a chair. And then you're going to rotate the toes nice and slow up towards the ceiling. And then down towards the floor. If you're on a slippery floor, you might want to ditch your socks, which I probably will at some point. Good, we'll do one more. And then go ahead and step that knee back in. Same thing on the other side. Step the leg forward, tuck that pelvis under, then shift forward. Nice, take a couple deep breaths here. Let these hip flexors open, keeping that pelvis tucked. Whatever leg is forward, you're going to take that arm inside of that knee, push to open. The other arm goes up and over the head towards the floor. Take a lot of nice deep breaths here. Good, we'll come back in to the center. Walk this front foot out a bit. Lunge into it. So again, hand goes to the floor, up and over the head here, and breathe. You may feel a little bit more in the QL up here as well. That's not wrong. You're just tight there. Good, we'll come back up. Walk this foot all the way out to the side. Sit your hips back, rotate your toes up towards the ceiling, and then down towards the floor. Up towards the ceiling, down towards the floor. Sitting those hips back, getting into the long adductors. Good, we'll do one more. Perfect. Bring it down, step it back in. I'm just going to unroll my mat here. And we're going to make our way down to the floor on your back. So, come on down, bring the knees in, give them a squeeze, rock a little bit side to side to let the pelvis get readjusted. So you're going to keep one knee in, straighten the other. Bring that knee across your body, reaching the same arm out to the side to keep that shoulder down. So bringing it across. And if you can, you're going to look to that opposite hand for the purpose of me recording, so you can hear. I'll try and kind of stay center. And breathe. So getting into the low back as well as the thoracic spine with that twist. Take some nice deep breaths. Looking to this back hand, if you're able. And then you're just going to help this knee back up. Bring the other in, squeeze and rock. Keep the opposite leg pulled in. Bring the other straight. And again, bring that knee across the body, looking to this arm. And breathe. Nice deep breaths. Good. One more deep breath here. Help that knee back in. Both knees up. Give them a squeeze. Keep the knees bent, bring the feet flat on the floor. You're going to bring one leg up and over the other so that you've got a nice figure 4. So before we stretch, I want to work on some strength. I'm shooting my pelvic floor course right now, so I'm doing some work with how to get the glutes to fire. So we'll do a couple of these before we stretch. So you're in figure 4 position here. You're going to squeeze the glute, whatever leg is down, squeeze the glute on that side to lift the hips up towards the ceiling. And then relax down towards the floor. So we're just going to do 5 here. Good. Back down. Nice squeeze in your glute to lift. And then lower. We'll do 2 more. Lift. Lower. And lift. Good. And lower. So then you're going to, this bottom leg, you're going to bring up towards the ceiling and then in towards your chest. So reach it up and then bring it in. If you get pinchy in the front of the hip, adjust this foot here. If you find this really uncomfortable, you can use your arms or your handy dandy strap, wherever it's at, underneath the bottom leg to help you. I'm going to just go hands free, and then you're just going to tilt your figure 4 side to side. I'm just rocking back and forth. I'm going to change angles here so you guys can see what my legs look like. And then you're going to go ahead and tip your figure 4 over, bringing this foot down to the floor. You're going to take this free hand here, push that knee away from the body to open the front of the hip capsule. Good, and then you're going to pull that knee in towards your chest to get into more of the piriformis and the deep rotators. Perfect. You can relax, bring it back up, maybe do one more little sweep. And then we're switching sides. So we're going to start with our hip raises. So figure 4 position here, I'll turn back. Foot down on the floor, squeeze the glute here to raise, and then lower 5 times. You can certainly do more than 5 if you've got the time. Squeeze and lower. When women are going through pregnancy or postpartum, they lose a lot of activation in the glutes because they have been clenching for months at a time, trying to combat their new center of gravity or work against the child that they're holding out in front of them, which I talk about in my pelvic health course. So this is a way to kind of get those glutes to liven back up and fire again. Good. And then we'll go right into stretch. So lifting this bottom leg up towards the ceiling first, and then in towards the chest. Adjust this leg if you need to, and then we're just going to rock it gently, side to side. Nice and easy here. When you're ready, we're just going to tip over towards the floor. So start by taking this hand, pushing against that knee to open up the front of the hip capsule. And then we're going opposite direction, pulling it in to get into those rotators. Good, nice and easy. You can relax that, bring it back up. If you want to do one more little sweep, just get all the fibers, feel free. Then you're going to uncross, squeeze, rock, roll on over to your side. So I'm going to grab a yoga block for under my head. You can grab a pillow or whatever you have handy. Maybe you don't need anything, that's fine. So just for comfort for me. So we're going to get into the shoulders. You're going to stack the knees to start with, stacking the hips. If you have pretty mobile shoulders, you can cross for a little extra stretch. Most of us are fine without that. So start with the hands straight out, the arms straight out from each other, hands stacked. We're going to peel the top arm across the bottom arm, over the chest, down to the floor. Sweep your fingertips down to the floor, towards your feet, over the body, and then we're going to repeat that one more time. So peeling across, sweep it down, and around, come back. And now we're going to draw a circle, so dragging your fingertips on the floor, you're going to draw a circle over around your head and your body. The goal here would be to have your fingertips touching the floor the whole time. If you find that is not available to you, that's fine. You don't need to force it. Just let it be where it is, but go nice and slow. The slower, the better. Good, we'll do one more circle here. Bringing them around. Perfect. And then we're going to switch to the other shoulder. So you guys can just flip on over. I'm just changing sides for camera angles. So starting by peeling that top arm across the body, fingertips to the floor, sweep them down, and around, here we go, and then peel across, sweep down, back to where we started. So now we're going to draw the circles over the head, around the body, nice and slow. Back to the center, and again. Notice if there's a difference between sides. If there is, you want to spend more time on the side that seems to be struggling. So we'll go again. Good. And back to the center. Good. We're going to push up. We're going to ditch the yoga block. I'm going to grab a chair. If you've got a coffee table handy or your couch or just something like that, that works great. And my little friend has decided to join us for the last few minutes. Can you say hello? You were having a very good sleep, weren't you? Okay. Say hi to your friends. You're not going to get the camera. That's very bad. Okay. So, what should we give you to distract you? Here's a phone roller. Oh, this is very nice. Okay. So, I grabbed a chair. Whatever you've got handy is fine. Coffee table is great. Couch is good. So we're just going to open the chest a little bit. So you're going to sit, kneel parallel to it. Bring your arm up, elbow bent at 90. Put it down on whatever you're using. And you're going to drop your chest down to the floor and look away from the chair. So you're kind of almost turning here. Hi. Hello. Good, we'll come back to the center. Now you're just going to change the angle of the elbow a bit up higher. So we're hitting all of the parts of the pec minor here. So again, turning away. Good, coming back up. We'll do one more. Elbow lifts one more time. Down to the floor, nice big stretch. Good. Come back up. So we're going to switch sides. Elbow here. Shift the chest down to the floor, look away. Hi. Still in his PJs. Good, then we're going to shift up a little bit. Hi. You're blocking the camera. Good, come back to the center one more time, shifting the elbow up, looking away, opening the chest. Good, coming back in. Can you get out of the way? Come here. So now you're going to turn to face your coffee table, couch, whatever it is that you're using. You're going to place both elbows down on it, shift your knees back, and then you're going to push the chest down towards the floor, putting yourself into some extension. So trying to get some movement in your T-spine and breathing. So chest comes through. If you can drop the hands down, do that, whatever feels good to you there. Hoping he doesn't drink my coffee or spill my coffee. Take a few deep breaths. Good. Come back up. Oh, that's fun. And you can get rid of this chair, coffee table, whatever you're using, move away from it. So now if you've got yoga blocks or foam roller, grab those out because we're going to end with some more extension into kind of a resting position where you guys can hopefully relax and have some quiet time. Not over here. So I like to have 2 yoga blocks, one for my head, one for my back. If you don't have blocks, you can use a foam roller lengthwise. He has stolen my foam roller, so I cannot show it to you. But keeping the foam roller lengthwise along your spine here. If you don't have either one, you can get creative. You can use a coffee can or something of maybe that size. So we're gonna come on down, putting the block or roller, whatever you've got, in between the shoulder blades. So if you've got blocks, make sure they're kind of at the bottom of your rib cage, not on the soft part there. And then you're just gonna dip your head over and make sure it's resting on something. If you don't have something, use your hands. You don't want your head to hang. Oh, that's Mama's coffee. And that's fine. It's fine. Motherhood, guys. Fine. So, again, you don't want your head to hang. Remember what we talked about with the nervous system? That's not helpful, so put something under. And then you're just going to bring your feet in towards each other. Let your knees drop open. And let your arms hang out and let your chest open. So arms go out to the sides, the chest is open, knees are dropping, feet are together so that your psoas is opening as well as your chest. What am I doing, huh? And this is where I'm going to leave you. So I'd like you to stay here for as long as you're able, peacefully, and just let your body get into some extension. Let your chest open, let the T-spine get some mobility there. Open the psoas. And hopefully your child will find this as funny as mine if they're in the room. So thanks for jumping on with me. Oh, that's not good. For this Mobility for Moms video. So hopefully that will help you guys with opening your chest, getting some T-spine work, opening your side body, getting into your hips, helping you combat all of the spots that we kind of beat up day to day when we have little ones running around and controlling our lives. So happy Mother's Day, everyone, and hope you guys enjoy. Say bye.